Hi, friends. How are you? Happy day. I hope you are having a fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, or whenever we have the opportunity to chat. It is early morning on the West Coast, so cheers with a cup of coffee. Every week I go live and I do one of these conversations where we are here to ask me anything. But today I want to start off with a little bit of real talk. This is just me and you having a conversation around something that I've been thinking of, quite honestly, for a hot minute. But before we move there, I wanted to take a second. Yes, you're going to hear baby music playing in the background because that is my life right now. I have a full day of shooting and content creation, and I'm trying to do that in between taking care of a baby, between myself and my husband. But before I did that, I like to make sure that we prioritize going live every single week. But I have a question for you, and the question I have is, have you ever asked yourself, why does it feel like I'm not doing enough? But the question I have for you is, what does it mean to do enough? Like, at what point do you just come out and say, okay, I've done enough? Like, either I've done enough growing, I've done in my business, I've done enough work for today. I'm going to say that the lesson that I've learned specifically in 2020 has been that I believe that doing enough has to do with being enough. And like, what do I legit mean by that? Well, I just wrote down a few notes. I believe being enough is showing up every day despite the odds stacked against you and putting in the work. I believe being enough is forgiving yourself and extending grace even if you think it's unwarranted. I believe being enough is accepting your flaws and idiosyncrasies and trusting that the jagged parts are part of what make you whole. And I believe that being enough is trusting that we all have the ability to do, create, and share something with the world that leaves it better than we found it. Friends, this is just something that I had been thinking about. These are conversations that I've had with people, and I'm like, listen, why can't I hop online? Yes, I'm going to answer business questions because that's what I do every week. But like, can we have just like real talk conversations about my perspective? If people agree with it, great. If people don't, not a big deal either. But it's so important for me to put a stake in the ground and say, I believe that being enough is allowing yourself to be seen and heard, even when you feel alone and your voice shakes. I have to remind you that you are not your to-do list, and you're not your timeline, and you're not your accomplishments. I firmly believe that if you are doing the best you can, you are doing enough. You know, it's like I adopted a baby a few months ago, and like everything I thought I knew about running a business, I have no idea. Trying to be a mom and a business partner and a CEO and have a team and try to create content and show up. Y'all, do I look tired? I feel like I look real tired. I had to put on extra makeup today because I was like, the bags under my eyes just need a little help. I am surviving on caffeine and lots of grace because I have to remember that I just looked at my to-do list this morning and I'm like, I don't know if I can do all of this. But I'm going to say I'm not going to be defined by my to-do list. I believe that if I'm trying my best, and every night when I put my head on the pillow, I'm like, did you do everything you could? If the answer was yeah, then I have to say I did enough today. I tried my best. And more importantly, the thing I want to tell people is that you are enough. If you're taking the little you have, and if you're like, Jasmine, I only have 12 minutes today, and you use those 12 minutes to pursue your business or your career, I'm going to be here. I'm going to support that. I'm going to clap it up for you. So friend, the question I have for you at the end of a week is, did you do enough? And if you didn't, no problem. Great. What can you do today? What can you do today? But if you say, you know what, I gave it my best, I'm here and I'm going to clap that up for you and with you. Every week I answer questions. We're going to get into those questions today. But Betsy, I just want to say thank you. She's dialing in, calling in, joining us from Maine. She says, it's gray and chilly there, but being here is a ray of light. Cheers, you are a ray of light, sweet friend. Okay, so for those of you guys who have questions, leave them here. This is what I do. Leave them in a comment. We'll dive right in. Let's start off with our pre-asked questions. Chrissy Renee says, I get great engagement on Instagram when I give engagement, but on Facebook, Nothing. Any suggestions? I feel like I'm talking to walls. Okay, does anybody feel like Chrissy? Chrissy says, I can give engagement on Instagram, but I do the same on Facebook, and I'm hearing anything but crickets. I think there's a couple things at play. Is that on Facebook, most likely, if you have a business, you're going to want to communicate by way of your business page. Because unless you want to friend everybody on Facebook, and a lot of times business owners don't want to just create friends with like strangers because they want to post pictures of their kids or their Christmas parties or whatever the case may be. So if you are going to engage on Facebook, it is going to be best to be communicating by way of your page, because then people can go to your page and drive comments there. I try to do that to the best of my ability. However, if I'm going into groups and I'm giving engagement and the group setting is that I have to use my personal profile. Well, if I have my personal profile, the fact of the matter is, I don't use my personal profile for business. But if I have to engage with my personal profile, I want to make sure that my personal profile is optimized so that people know exactly what I do. So what I'm going to show you right now is this is on my personal Facebook page. And there highlighted, it's called the intro section. This is what somebody immediately sees. And it says owner at Jasmine Star. That is hyperlinked to my Facebook page. It gives back a few additional informations, but then again, if you'll notice there at the bottom, again, I am linking to my Facebook page. I actually reached the friend limit on Facebook. Now I know that sounds like a humble brag, like, oh, I have too many friends. No, it was just years ago. I didn't know that Facebook had a limit, and Facebook limits you to 5,000 friends. And so in the photo world, I would travel around the US and I would be teaching classes and I would be like, you're my friend, you're my friend, you're my friend. And all of a sudden I was just like, oh, I can't grow anymore on this page. That's when on this personal account, that's why I started my Facebook page. And now I do 99.9% of all engaging from my Facebook page. When I can give engagement, I'm using my page. If I have to use my personal profile, I'm making sure that it's optimized so that people know to connect with me there. Okay, let's get into a live question. Abigail said, what if I'm not seeing results? I'm not getting engagement and I need my business to be successful ASAP. Okay. I find this very, very, very interesting because like Abigail and like myself, let's just have a real conversation around this idea. I need my business to be successful ASAP. So do I. Does anybody here not want their business to be successful ASAP? Does anybody? We all want and need our business to be successful ASAP. But I wonder who created the timeline? Like truly, who created the timeline? Oftentimes, I say, I want to do this much revenue in this amount of time, and I want this launch to do this, and I want that product to do this, and these are the numbers that I want, and I want to do it in this amount of time because I believe that's a good amount of time. That's fine, and I love that. I mean, I do the same thing. But I also have to encourage you to take a step back and ask yourself, am I pulling a timeline out of thin air? Like, why does the business have to do this and be this by this time and this date? Who said that? When people say, I need my business to be successful ASAP, guess what? Everybody does. But whether or not it works in your timeline, listen, I have to tell you, I have been an entrepreneur for 13 years and never, not once, have I ever gotten the success that I wanted in the timeline that I wanted. Not once. Now, maybe it happens for other people and I wish them all the best, but for me, I have never met my success on my timeline, my numbers, or in the way that I imagined it. So I want Abigail and anybody else here is like, I need it ASAP. We all do. But just because we want it in a certain time frame doesn't mean that we're guaranteed that. And even if it doesn't happen in the timeline that we want it, it doesn't mean we're dumb. It doesn't mean we're behind. It doesn't mean that we're capable for success. It just means that we have to learn something or grow in a certain way before we reach the end outcome. So I know Abigail didn't even ask that question, but I need to go to the root of why we believe our timeline is some universe timeline, that God or the universe says, oh, I create a timeline, no, everything better go the way that I want it. It doesn't work that way. And the minute we deceive ourselves is the minute that we're letting ourselves get under our goals instead of being over our goals. So how do you start seeing results? I'm not getting engagement. Abigail, before you get engagement, you must give engagement. And I'm not just saying, okay, once a week I sit down for 10 minutes. I'm talking about every single day. You must give. Because chances are people don't even know your business exists. The only way people will know your business exists if you go and you leave thoughtful comments and you vote on other people's polls and you send direct messages and you leave nice comments so people can say, who is this Abigail girl? Then they go to your account and number one, they may or may not follow. They may or may not engage, but they know who you are. And for the small group of people who do decide to follow you, that conversion from being a new follower to a customer takes a very long time. The more expensive your product or service, the longer they're going to have to follow you before they convert. Here's a rule of thumb. What we have noticed is that whenever I get a new follower on social media, it takes them 4 to 5 months before they were ever willing to invest in Social Curator. Social Curator is $49 a month. It will take somebody on average 4.5 months to convert to a $49 service. If you're selling something for more than $49, chances are it's going to take them even longer to convert into a customer. So friends, far before we put this timeline out on the universe, what we need to just say is our timeline is aspirational. We hope we get it. And then the game is before you ever get engagement, you must give engagement. Carrie asked, how do you add slides to your presentation? Just like that. Hey, we're talking about some real talk up in here. I use a third-party broadcasting software called Wirecast. It's a subscription that I use and I love. It's a little on the pricey end, but I go live every single week inside of like Facebook, and I also have private groups for social curators that I'm going live, so the investment was worth it. Okay, let's go to Rachel. I'm at the tipping point in my business. I either need to scale back a bit because it is overtaking family time, or I need to make it bigger and add a physical space and some help. How do you take that first huge step? Whew! These questions are coming in hot today. Rachel, I'm going to say something that probably is not going to make you feel good, but I only speak my truth. Is that right now, if you feel like your business is taking over family time, by you getting a physical space and by you going bigger, that will not get you any more time with your family in the foreseeable future. Every time you say, I want to up level, it's going to require for you to get rid of something. And if you are already saying, I don't have time for my family, most often the people who will feel the after effects of you making a business decision is your family. You will not get more time with your family when you get more stress on your finances to pay for the physical space, to probably hire somebody else to work with and for you, and to do something bigger in your business. If you're saying you would like to spend more time with your family, then that's okay. And I'm just going to speak this out to existence, Rachel, is that even if you do not get a physical space now, and even if you do not do something bigger in your business now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to do it in the future. So if you say in your gut, I need more time with my family, take the more time with your family. And in the future, go bigger. Because I'm just going to tell you right now, I can't tell you what the next step is going to be, but I can tell you that when you do more in your business, it's going to require less time somewhere else. And often that is coming by way of your family. I just want to be 100. Okay, let's get into, I can't pronounce your name, but I'm going to try. Axa? I'm sorry, I botched your name. Your last name is Espinal, so I know that I could say that. Jasmine, how can I handle my social media when I do Spanish and English content? Should I have 2 separate accounts, or should I post the same page with different languages at different times? I always say, to post in the language of your dream customer. So if you are going after, if your dream customer is a Spanish speaking customer, but you happen to be in the US, write it in Spanish and then at the bottom of it, translate it to English. So you could put two languages in one post, but the post that you're going to prioritize will be the language of your dream customer. There you go. Okay, let's dive into Dana. Reels. It gives an option to not share to the feed, but when I choose that, it still shares to my feed. Is it really showing up on my feed for public or just showing up on my end? I'm asking because I made a video which got good engagement, so I want to make it a reel, but I don't want the same video coming up twice in my feed. Okay, so on Instagram, when you upload a reel, so I don't know if you guys saw, but I mean, it's probably old news to y'all, but this morning there was an update on Instagram. So, okay, what you're looking at right now is the new and updated Instagram. Whereas before, there used to be an option down here to add a post. What they have just changed is the tab to add the reels at the bottom. So now if you just want to check out reels, you can click here and that's like a discover tab for reels. It looks very, very similar to TikTok. Now, if you wanted to get away from that, you would then click on your home page. And if you wanted to say like add a post, you're going to come up here to this icon and what down here, you can then select post, story, or a reel. So if you wanted to post a reel, you would select your reels and then you would go then and you would make your reel. Now, what Instagram is saying, do you want to post it to your feed? That means if you post it to your feed, what you're looking at right now is my feed. If you post a reel to your feed, it will show up here. But if you say, I want to make a reel, but I don't want it to my feed, it won't show up here, but it will show up right here in your Reels tab. There you go. So if you already posted a reel and it got good traction and you want to upload it again so that it appears on your feed, it will be the same video, just FYI. So then you get the option of whether or not you want to upload it again. Okay, so CC asked Jasmine, how do you organize your time for the week? How many hours a day do you work? Whoa, that's a hard question. It's an easy question to answer. It's an easy question to answer. I work a lot. Every morning, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. It's what time my body wakes up. I don't have an alarm. I wake up at 4:30 every morning. I go to bed around 10:30. I'm just one of those people. Like, I need around 6.5 hours of sleep. If I get 6.5 hours of sleep, I'm fine. I work from 4:30. No. I wake up at 4:30. I pray. I meditate for about a half hour. And from 5 to 6, I organize my day. I make sure that my team has what they need. From 6 to 7, I work out. From 7 to 7:40, I'm with the baby, feeding her breakfast. This is what we do, our normal routine. Then JD will take over at that time. And then I go in and I get ready for the day. And then I work all the way through lunchtime. I take a lunch break and I enjoy my time with my daughter. I feed her lunch. I eat lunch. Then I go back to working and I work until 6 p.m. I am putting in around 12-hour days. I do not recommend this. I don't think that you need to burn out. I don't think you need to work long hours. I'm just saying that right now, where I am in my life and my business, I am working quite extensively because I want to make changes in my life and in my family. And I had an open conversation with my husband and business partner, and we support each other to do this. He does take on a lot of like the child care during the day, and then we take turns, but I have a daily schedule that is stringent. Like, I have a timeline that is stringent. I have a Google Calendar that I share with a couple people on my team. And I'm like, everywhere I'll be, what I'll be working on, the projects that'll be completed at the end of the day. I know that when people hear that, it's kind of like, that sounds like an awful way to have like a business or a life as a creative. I know it's probably not ideal for a lot of people, but because I want to create content and because I want to write and because I want to make videos and because I want to teach people and because I want to go live. Listen, I never pitch on these. Well, 99% of the time, I don't pitch on our Facebook or Instagram lives. I don't pitch on the videos that I create. I'm out here because I freaking care about people, and I know that businesses can change somebody's life. And if it changes your life, it changes your family. If it changes your family, it changes your neighborhood. I believe this. I believe in the power of the small business owner. That is why when I get up and I create content, that's why when I do a live, like right now, I don't have 25 or 30 minutes to have a live conversation, but I make it every single week because I believe that my life is a testament of what other people can do. I am the daughter of an immigrant. I was homeschooled. I didn't learn how to read until I was 11. I was never the standout. I was never number one. I was never the funny girl in the center of the room. I was never any of those things. I wanted to be a photographer and I didn't own a camera. I wanted to start an online business having no experience whatsoever. In my entire life, I didn't know a single person growing up. Didn't know a single person who had ever started a business. And so here I was trying to start a business, and I made a promise to God, and I said, God, if I can ever start a business, I will share everything I know with other people. Here we are today, and I'm telling you humbly that I have a multi-million-dollar business and a team of 19 people. Not too bad for a girl from the hood who has no idea what she's doing. I believe in the power of the small business owner. I believe that if I share everything I know, somebody else's life can change. As a result of me having these big dreams, I need to make sacrifices. I need to have a very strong schedule because right after I get off this live, you want to know what I'm going to go do? I'm going to write a script and then I'm going to spend all day making videos, creating reels so that next week I have all of my content done. That is not for the faint of heart, but it is for those people who want to make a difference in the world and build a business and a life they love. Can I get an amen? So people say, how do you get organized and how do you create a schedule? You literally map what you do minute by minute each day. Friends, it is always, every single week, an honor and a privilege to come in here and talk with you. I am keeping my promise to God, and I hope that whatever you do, find a way to make it work. Prioritize your time so that you can find that balance between your life and your family. Pursue big and wild, scary things, because if you're not pursuing big, wild, and scary things, I have to ask you, are you living the life that you have been put on this earth to do? Friends, small business owners, nothing but love and gratitude. I hope you have a great and freaking amazing week. Much love. I'll see y'all next week when we go live yet again. Bye, friends.